Bullinger moves on in, and he scores!
He's gonna learn today.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Pod Street Bullies. The Bullies this time, not prospects. The Pod Street Bullies. I'm Derek.
And I am John. What's going on, everybody?
We got a good episode for you here, folks, today. And by that I mean we came up with it about a day or two ago because we had to scrap our original plans.
You know, what I find, though, is like we can't really plan these things too far in advance. And you get so worried because after a while it seems kind of redundant. Like, how many times could you possibly talk about the Flyers being an up and down team?
Oh, yeah. And everyone, it's a roller coaster. Like, this is such a tired term at this point. It's like, we know it's a roller coaster. Right. Now, to preface this, I should say, our original topic, we were going to talk about how JVR just has not been doing well. Right. And what does JVR do as soon as we start our Google Doc here with the rundown of the show? He goes off for 3 points against the Kings.
Right. Now, I'm not ready to say he's having a good year or anything, but it's kind of weird to have that conversation after he has 3 points.
Yeah, what's that one phrase you always use? I'm drawing a blank here.
The brakes.
There it is. Yes, pump the brakes. But regardless, he threw a wrench in our plans. And hey, you know what? If he's going to put up 3 points and that's what it's going to do to us, okay, cool.
Wrench away.
We're fine with that. But we've got some games to recap also right here quick. So last week there were games Monday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, and Saturday night. The Monday night game against the Boston Bruins, one of the best teams in the league. Flyers pull off a 6-5 victory with goals from Kevin Hayes, 2 from Sanheim, Couturier had 1, Bunneman had 1, and the lone shootout goal from Konechny. Good stuff, am I right?
Yeah, but who cares about all that stuff? Brad Marchand.
Yeah, the guy missed the puck. It was great.
What in the world?
It couldn't have happened to a better guy.
I probably watched it 100 times, but I could watch it 100 more times and not get sick of it.
Oh, God, dude.
He is hands down the biggest.
He flubbed the breakaway like a night or two after that. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
He's such a, he's the kind of guy who really gets under your skin, and I get that, he's a good player, but he's a dirtbag. So when you see him screw up the way he does, that is just beautiful. Costs him the game. Fantastic.
It's that Seinfeld gif, like, oh, that's a shame.
Right. Yeah, but great comeback win. Probably a game they had no business winning.
You're right.
But they did, and that's all that matters. They knocked off one of the top teams in the East, top teams in the league.
Yeah. Shout out to our buddy Mark Allred, Black and Gold podcast.
Yeah. But, no, it was a nice win, and it kind of set things up for the next game.
You're right. Next game came against, at that time, the best team in the NHL and defending Stanley Cup champion St. Louis Blues. Away. It was in St. Louis, too. This was an away game, and the Flyers won the game. Like, can you believe it?
Really, I couldn't. I thought that the Blues were going to stomp them out of this one. With the Flyers' history on the road, the fact that this was such a good team, I didn't expect us to be in this game, and we ended up, winning this one, and hopes are high, and everybody's all excited, and then...
Oh, yeah. If we're going to continue with St. Louis here real quick.
Oh, sorry.
Do you remember, how long ago was it we were talking about the fact that these Flyers have been blowing leads? This game seemed way too remnant of those games where they had that lead, then they blew it, but then they still ended up winning it in overtime. I'm glad that they could shut the door on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, you don't want to blow leads and lose the game. You don't want to blow leads, period. But if you're going to blow a lead, it's nice to at least still walk away with a victory.
You're right. And Voracek finally scoring a goal there with the game winner in overtime. Konechny, Raffle, Lawton.
Could we please for a minute with Jake Voracek? Like, come on, man. Shoot the puck more.
That's what happens when he shoots. He scores. It's good.
I know. I don't know what he's so afraid of.
I don't get it either.
It drives me crazy. I don't know why I was so aggravated watching him score a goal, because I shouldn't be aggravated, but I'm like, stupid pain in the neck, like, do this more.
Well, how many games ago was it where he had literally that wide open look right in front of the net and he passed it? There was no one on him. Right. So that's where we draw our frustration. But much to your point, where we tried to close out the St. Louis game, we get to the letdown from the back-to-back games. Montreal comes into Philadelphia and takes it to the Flyers. The Flyers lose 4-1. Farabee's first game back up after being quote-unquote demoted, and he scores the lone goal for the Flyers. So there's one positive. But
and now Montreal was on a back-to-back too, I believe, right? So that
they had lost,
kind of goes out the window.
Yeah, they had lost to Chicago the night before.
Right.
So, a little extra motivation for them.
Right. I mean, Montreal's a struggling team. Again, this is one of those games that you need to win or at least be competitive in. And the Canadians ran the table on this one.
Yeah. Jesus. Those, the fight. Can we talk about that for a second? Kotkaniemi and Haig, and the way Kotkaniemi just slaughtered our man, Iron Man, Bobby Haig.
Kotkaniemi's shit. Like 14.
Yeah, the kid it looked like Mike Tyson haymakers, man.
I know.
I'm like, good God, kid.
Haig needs to call it a night after that.
Yeah, that was...
reevaluate things.
Yeah, and for how good he's been playing as of late, that's a night he wants to forget. Let's be honest, that was bad. Whew.
Right. That's a fun name to say, though, isn't it? Jesperi Kotkaniemi.
Kotkaniemi, I like that, because at first I didn't know how in the world we're supposed to...
I'm sure you can make a good song out of it. Kotkaniemi. No, that's not good. All right.
No,
keep going.
We're gonna
Kings?
Yeah, let's go to the Kings. Saturday night.
Saturday.
Elton John Gove segueing us into this game. This time the score was 4-1 as well, but came out on the other end for the Flyers. The Flyers took it to L.A.
Right.
Konechny 2 goals. Farabee added another goal, and JVR.
3
Good
points,
old
babe.
JVR.
Yep. I mean, it's great that Farabee was scoring. It's nice that JVR scored, but this is a game you're supposed to win, and I'm not gonna spend time talking about it as if we should be excited.
No, I mean, am I excited? Yes, but they won a game they should have won, exactly like you said.
Right, kind of like what they didn't do the first time they played the Kings.
Exactly. If we're speaking quite honestly here, they should have went 4-0 this past week.
Right.
Given the wins over Boston and St. Louis, they should have came out and beat Montreal, no doubt, in my mind. And they did come out and beat the Kings.
Yep, and now they just got one game left until the All-Star break.
And that's
they don't play again until the 31st, right? After Tuesday?
Yep, and that's another game against Pittsburgh as well.
Man, what the hell are we going to talk about next weekend?
All-Star festivities, yeah. Let's just hope they have Konechny mic'd up, because that'll give us some fun stuff to talk about.
Right.
All right. But what we're going to get to today is the players. We're going to talk about the players, and we're going to talk about the big-name players, the big-money players, and whether they are earning their contracts.
We're also going to go into the new...
Yes.
The new contracts.
The newly signed contracts, guys like Provorov, Konechny, Kevin Hayes coming in through free agency. You could consider Brian Elliott a new signing as well, since he kind of re-upped in the offseason. We didn't know whether he was coming back or not. But big-name guys, Niskanen, Braun, new acquisitions, Voracek, Giroux. Aside from the obvious ones who we know are earning their contract or not earning their contract, we're going to delve into this and have some fun. So we're going to get to the first person here. The big fish from free agency this past year. We have Kevin Hayes, who signed a 7-year, $7.142 million per. After this season, he's got 6 more left, and he has a no-movement clause as part of that deal.
Right.
Tell us how he's doing this season.
Well, I think he's having a good season. I mean, 14 goals, 13 assists, 27 points. But, I mean, he brings a personality and energy to the locker room that I think this team has been missing. He's bought all in to the Philadelphia Flyers, which is great. There's a sense of leadership that's there. But when you look at this, right, and 7.1, is that what it was?
7.124?
Yeah, 4.2.
142, my apologies.
Yeah, so 7.1 if we're rounding down. To me, I need a little bit more production. Now, maybe this isn't fair because it's still the first half year of this contract, but if we're talking about just on this season, if someone's earning their contract, I don't necessarily think 27 points in 49 games is $7.1 million.
You're right, but that can also be attributed to the fact that in free agency, you have to overpay to land somebody like him.
Okay, but we're not doing that. We're assessing whether or not they are earning their contract. I don't care the reason behind why they got the contract.
Oh,
right?
Okay. Dictate the terms to me then.
Maybe he's got photos of Fletcher, and that's why he got a better, better contract.
Yes.
But I don't know.
Contract.
Like when I'm looking at 7.1, I guess I just want to look at it and see a little bit more production. Like maybe if we were at 35 points in 49 games, I'd be a little more comfortable with it.
Of course.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
So I'm happy with the acquisition. I like Kevin Hayes on this team, but I do still think it was an overpayment.
Yeah, I think when you look at the type of player he is that all-around player where you could put him, if you really wanted to, on the power play because he's very good at protecting the puck. He's great along the boards. You can put him on the penalty kill because he's got an active stick. He's got, 2 shorthanded goals this year, I believe?
2. Yep.
So, and he's taking about 2.5 shots per game, it looks like here. Penalty minutes, middle of the road. Production
plus minus ain't very good.
No, obviously a +9 would be better than a -9, but you know what? So be it.
What I'm looking at here, brother, it says -15.
-15. Maybe I need to update my game logs here then. But you're right. -15 is definitely worse than a +15. Another one of those John Gove sayings here. But 27 points, 49 games. Again, you'd like to see 35 instead, but there's time. He could come on, in the last couple months of the season. But as of right now, again, you'd like to see a little more so that you'd be comfortable saying he's earning that deal.
Well, that's the thing, right? We're talking about earning a contract. If we were talking about whether or not, this was a good acquisition, if this was a good player on the Flyers, it'd be a different conversation.
Of course.
But we're very specific on if he's earning the contract, and just not yet.
Yeah, not yet for me either. And that no movement clause still is I feel like that tacks on value to it because no matter how good or bad the guy does, you need a list or you have to have him waive that clause in order to move him if you want, and that's
right.
It's another anchor tying him down. But if there's nothing more to discuss with Hayes, we move on to our next guy, one of our favorite players. Hasn't blocked our account yet on Twitter, which is nice. But Jakub Voracek is having, it's not a terrible year. It's nothing to look at and be like, holy crap, great. He's having the type of year we would want a guy like Kevin Hayes to have.
Sure.
Yeah, 37 points in 49 games. He's a plus player.
He's the second highest paid player on the team?
He is. Just a shade under what Claude Giroux's making.
Yeah. 9 goals, 28 assists in 49 games does not scream second highest player paid player on the team.
No.
It doesn't. If someone's earning their contract, especially when they're up there in the upper echelon, you're not talking about trading this guy.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
But I feel like every other week we would talk about possibly trading this guy.
Well, you think about it. This guy signs this deal, and he's coming off an 81-point season. I believe that's when he signed it. And then you've got a 55-point season, a 61-point season. Then in 17-18, he had an 85-point season, which that's the type of production you expect from a guy making $8.25 million a year. Last season, he's got 66 points, and he only missed 4 games. Now he's at 37 with 49. He's on pace for probably 70, if that.
Right. Now, the argument can be made, right, that Voracek needs a goal scorer.
But that argument can be made for a lot of the players on the Flyers because all they have are playmakers.
I know, but what I'm saying is, like, if you look at most of his points throughout his career, it comes in the assists. Like, you can't assist people who can't score goals.
Yeah, his highest goal total is 23 back in 13-14.
Philosophy, by the way. You can't assist people who can't score goals.
Yeah, you're right. Now, here's the thing, though, and what we just spoke about a few minutes ago with the St. Louis game. We know Jake can score goals.
Right.
Like, we know he's capable of scoring goals. So why not tell him, dude, shoot the damn puck?
I have an inside source that told me a reason why he's having a little bit of a hard time with confidence in shooting.
Oh, yeah?
It comes back to Pee Wee. He was playing for this team, I believe it was called the Hawks, and he had a penalty shot, and it was a game winner. And his coach said to him, listen, go in, triple deke it, and it'll go in. So he goes 1, 2, 3, triple deke, beats the goaltender, hits it off the post, team loses, he's crushed. Can never, ever get over it. So that's what happened.
Don't ever associate one of my favorite movies with Jake Voracek ever again. It is slanderous, and I don't appreciate it. And we're moving on. You think I'm really going to balk at the fact that you're referencing one of the greatest hockey movies of all time?
Oh, man.
Trilogies. The greatest hockey trilogies of all time.
You ever see the Daniel Tosh stand-up where he's talking about alternate endings?
I believe it's been a long time.
When he's talking about the alternate ending to Mighty Ducks.
I must have missed that one then.
Can't reference it on this show, but go look it up. It's really freaking funny.
I'm going to look that up once we're done here.
Okay, anyway, let's keep going.
Yes or no, Voracek's earning his contract? You said no, I said no. Yeah. Want to see some more out of him. But we get to the next player, Captain Claude Giroux. Giroux has an 8-year contract, $8.275 million a year, only 2 years remaining after this season, and a no-movement clause. Let me make this abundantly clear to all of you listening right now that are a part of the Trade Claude Giroux bandwagon. That is a no-movement clause. That means he cannot be moved without approving it, and he loves Philadelphia.
But Derek...
But, John.
13 goals and 21 assists.
You going to move him?
I'm not for trading Claude Giroux, but, like, if he's not producing at the level we need, right, and Jake Voracek's not producing at the level we need, it's clear that this core just isn't going to do it, and we need to start viewing people like Konechny as the core and possibly trading these people for other players that are in that same age area. Now, I don't think you're going to get a great value for Giroux right now because he is underperforming, but I don't think we can say with confidence that it's like such a bad idea anymore.
You're right, I know hate,
I'm right.
Man, I'm going to kill you. My biggest gripe with this is the fact that, I mean, think about the seasons, and yes, this is during the contract that he has now. Think about the seasons that he's had under that contract, where 100-something points, 90 points here and there. I'm trying to pull this up now, but my laptop's giving me a bit of a fit currently. But he's 2 years removed from 102 points. He had 73 points in 14-15, 86 in 13-14, 93 in 11-12. And not to mention he was a point-per-game player during the lockout-shortened year. So, again, this year is he earning his contract? No. Is he capable of earning that contract? Yes. Absolutely.
Sure, I think up until this point, he was earning his contract.
Oh, for sure.
So I'm not going to say he hasn't earned his contract, but I'm also going to throw in that this year he's really got to start doing more if this team's going to go anywhere.
There's much more left to be desired this year.
Right. I mean, and if this is that big of a decline and this is the new Claude, that's no bueno.
No, that is no bueno at all. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's I don't think moving him solves a problem. I think that actually right now might be the turning point for him because he played pretty well along with JVR. JVR is the goal scorer. Giroux's the setup guy. And I believe it was Konechny. I mean, Konechny uses his speed to create openings. So that line could work, and I think that line might be the catalyst for something bigger moving forward with Giroux. At least I'm hoping, and I'm optimistic that that's the case.
Well, I mean, and you have to think of it on the team that would be acquiring him's perspective. They're not going to want to take 35-point Claude Giroux at $8.2 million per either. So, like, the best thing that the Flyers can hope for is that he turns it around because you're not going to get a great value for him if you're trading him.
Exactly.
Because it's a salary dump.
Yeah. Now, I mean, you're still getting you're still getting some skill along with him. Like, they're going to get a decent return if they decide to trade him. Don't get me wrong, but
I actually disagree with you.
Really?
I do. I think that if they were to trade Claude Giroux, the other teams would look at the Flyers as vulnerable because they're desperate. They're going to trade their captain. They're going to be desperate. They're going to lowball him. All of them are going to lowball him. And also, if the Flyers are going to trade him, they're trading because he's not performing.
Well, you're absolutely right. I'm just saying I think Chuck Fletcher needs to have the stones to say, okay, then we won't trade him.
Right. But what I'm saying is if they ended up trading him, right, I just don't think it's going to be for value. It would wind up being a salary dump because they're afraid that he's just going to continue to decline.
Yeah, I hope that's not the case, as I'm sure you do as well. But
right, of course.
That's what happens in hockey. You get to an age and then you start declining. And let's be honest, Giroux's not getting any younger. He's 32 years old.
Right.
Yeah. So right now, again, Claude Giroux not earning his contract. We have next on the list, good old JVR.
Mm-hmm.
James Van Riemsdyk signed a 5-year, $7 million a year deal last season. Before last season, he has 3 years remaining after this season. He's also been the popular point of discussion when it comes to who we're going to leave unprotected for the Seattle expansion draft.
Yep.
Still a year away. So the Flyers are either going to have to stomach that $7 million next year or probably, again, get lowballed like crazy in order to deal him away. Because let's be honest, at this point in the season, we're not getting the production that we want from him.
Right.
Not for $7 million.
This deal, if you go back and take a look at it, and I really wanted to dive in this previously when we were just going to talk about JVR, but like the deal that was made when Ron Hextall signed this contract is puzzling because it is so not a Hextall move.
You're right.
Like, it screams the exact opposite of Ron Hextall. Like, it made it seem like there was pressure from upstairs to do something, and this was like a nostalgia signing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did I think he'd produce more than what he's doing now? Of course I did. But, like, I mean, the signs were there that this contract was going to wind up bad soon.
You're right. But, I mean, you look at it, too, and you're going to pay a guy who has 294 points in 413 games with Toronto in the 6 years there.
Right.
So, and given the class of free agents that year, he was the top winger. And
I know.
The biggest need that they had was a scoring winger. JVR fit that profile. Hextall just seems out of his element when he's not signing depth guys and character guys.
Or drafting. Right. Yeah, I
know. He was at his best when scouting and drafting, and the free agency period just was not his forte by any means. I mean, Ryan White, Boyd Gordon, Dale Weiss. Like,
Boyd Gordon.
Come on. So, JVR, in a way, earned that contract, but is not earning it now.
No, and I think he's the one where I would be just so comfortable with a low ball trade. If somebody was like, hey, I'll give you a 4th rounder for JVR, I'd probably be like, all right, sure, fine.
The bottom line is you bring a guy in like JVR and expect him to score goals. He has 13 goals this year in 49 games.
Right. I mean, he's kind of a one-trick pony.
Yeah, that's 1 goal every 4 games, essentially, and that's not enough.
No. I mean, I love JVR. You know, I like the whole pigeon thing. I think that's funny, but I just, no, it's not doing it for me.
Much to the tune as Giroux here, though. It's one of those things where that line might work, and maybe it's, again, the catalyst to spark JVR. Maybe JVR starts going on a tear, because we all know he's a streaky scorer. Most goal scorers are. You could argue that.
Right.
But, fact of the matter is, at this point, he hasn't done enough to earn that contract, because you look at his stats and his games right now. I mean, he had gone, I think, 13 games without a goal since he last scored against Ottawa on December 21st, before the Kings game the other night. Mm-hmm. The goals are too far between, or they're few and far between, I should say. He had 2 goals in 2 consecutive games, and then 2 games before that he had a goal before that one. But then you go on a drought, and 3 games without a goal, and just after that it's like 10 more games without a goal. It's terrible. That's not the guy you want to pay $7 million for.
Right. Yeah, no. I mean, like you said, he's streaky. And when streaky players aren't on a hot streak, it's frustrating.
Yeah. And I feel like at this point, I mean, who has earned their contract yet? I don't think we've said yes to any of these.
No, I mean, we were kind of on the fence with Giroux. But I feel like up until this season, he's earned his contract.
Yeah, but this season,
it's about to get optimistic.
It is, because the next guy we talk to here is leading the Flyers in scoring, and that is Travis Konechny. This past offseason, we all know I shouldn't say he held out, but he was the last RFA to sign. Konechny finally did sign, and when he did, he signed for 6 years at $5.5 per. 5 years remaining after this season. Just want to point out that's about one of around the area that I projected that to be. So you're welcome, everybody. I tweeted that out along with my Provorov projection, which was also right. So suck it. But Konechny, we're going to get back to actual hockey talk here. Is he earning his contract?
Of course, he's earning his contract.
Didn't even have to ask.
Oh, man. I mean, of course, he's the guy where I'm like, oh, man, if we paid him $7.1 million, all right, yep, earning it.
Yeah.
Like, him and Kevin Hayes should swap contracts.
Oh, I'd love it.
They swap contracts, they both earn it.
Absolutely.
Can we make that happen?
I feel like Champ from Anchorman, like, whammy! Like, that's right there. You earn it. Both of them would earn it. Now,
right. No, I mean, he's killing it. I mean, and we have 6 years of this. Now, hopefully this isn't a fluke, and I don't think it's a fluke, but this is a good sign, man.
I'm loving it. I think it's great. We're seeing a big step up in ice time as well, because that was apparently one of the big talking points in contract discussions, where he was averaging like 15 minutes. Now he's up to about 17, just a shade under.
Yep.
Almost a point per game, and his goal, he's going to surpass both of his previous highs in goals and assists. He's already there, essentially. I think he's only 3 points off. The sky's the limit for this kid. And at that type of cap hit, man, for the next 5 years, I believe, after this one, awesome stuff.
Yeah. Agreed. Not much else to say, though, dude. I mean, he's killing it.
No,
earning it all.
Absolutely. And I know we've talked about this. Brooke Dester put out that article for NBC Sports getting a petition to sign for Konechny to get mic'd up at the All-Star game. How awesome would that be?
So that's another thing I love about him, man. Like, there's an edge to him. There's energy. Like, even when the rest of this team seems dead, there's always one person you can count on giving his all every game.
And that's
Konechny.
Yeah, he's got that little brother energy that just, you don't know when to shut up. But also, let's be honest, like, he can fend for himself out there. He's not a pushover.
Sure.
But I said it before in a tweet, I think, the other day. Like, they mic'd up Scott Hartnell for the one All-Star game that he made it to, and you got the perfect soundbite, when he said, suck it, Phaneuf. Think of what you're going to get with Konechny if you put a mic on that kid.
I would love it.
So we're going to jump over to the other RFA from this past offseason. We have Ivan Provorov. Provorov signed for 6 years, $6.75 million per. He has 5 years remaining as well after this season. Him and Konechny are locked in for the future here, and then their contracts expire. There's a difference of $1.25 million between them. Provorov is the workhorse defenseman we've all needed.
Yep.
And this season has been a great bounce back for him, considering last year he had 26 points all year, and he's got 25 at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he's having a great year. And like you said, when you're playing close to 25 minutes a night, like, you can't really complain with that. I mean, if I were to nitpick, my one problem with Provorov is he's still a little loosey-goosey with the puck. 48 giveaways in 49 games. I don't love that. You know, he's kind of on pace to surpass his 92 giveaways last year. I don't love that when you're a defenseman. You need to be able to handle the puck. You're kind of the last line of defense. I know, stupid pun. But, but I think he's earning his contract. I was worried about this, but I think he's earning his contract at this point.
Yeah, and considering what most people were presuming his contract would look like,
right,
I mean,
like 8x8. I mean, but then somebody thinks something even higher, like 8x10.
One of the Columbus writers, someone over in Columbus area, I think, said something about $10 million per, and I'm like, this guy's high. But you know, and obviously I should go back. Points aren't the only thing to judge a defenseman by, obviously, but you know, he's on pace to probably tie, if not surpass, his record in blocks, and that can be attributed to a defensive system that's worked for Vigneault in the past. Yep. Time on ice is actually under what it was last year, and he's still performing much better. On the power play, he's got 6 of his 9 goals, which is great. You know, shouldn't be on power play 1, shouldn't be on power play 1. Well, you know, 66, 67% of his goals are coming on the power play, so shut up. Assists, he's got 7 of them on the power play. He's great on the power play. That's the point that I'm trying to make.
I got it.
Yeah, loud and clear. Earning his contract, absolutely. Next person we get to here.
Let's plow through these last 3 quick, man. I mean, these aren't of the upper echelon.
No. First one we've got is, we got Matt Niskanen here.
Right.
Matt Niskanen, 7 years, $5.75 million, but 1 year remaining after this year.
Right.
Modified no trade clause, whatever. I think he's earning it.
Right. So, I mean, when you're looking from a Flyers perspective, right, it's 2 years at 5.75, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, too. I mean, he's kind of the blue line leader that they needed, like veteran blue line leader that they needed.
Exactly.
It's not going to wow you with a bunch of points. That's okay. I mean, he's got 19. That ain't bad. When he scores, he looks pretty good.
He's got a great shot. I love his wrister. I mean,
right.
It's deceptively quick.
Yeah, so, I mean, I agree with you. I think this was a good pickup.
I think, too. And I think the role that he was meant to play, he is playing well. Because we had a guy like Provorov suffer last year. Wasn't playing well. Now you bring in a veteran who can be that steady presence on that line.
Right.
And it's working. On the pairing, I should say. My apologies. It's working. He's servicing. He's doing that role well. And again, like you said, you don't expect a ton of points from him, but you're getting some offensive contributions as well.
Right.
And he's logging, how many minutes a game. So he's serving the purpose that we brought him in for.
Yep.
Justin Braun. Brought him in from San Jose for a 2nd and 3rd round pick, making $3.8 million, and will be a UFA at the end of the season.
Yeah, this is a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
I think we overpaid for him, the 2nd and 3rd round pick, but the amount of money that he's earning, I'm okay with. But he's such an up and down player. There's moments I'm like, what? This guy's a defensive defenseman? Does he know how to play defense? And then there's other times where I'm like, oh, this is what we went out and got.
He plays so well in the preseason, and everybody's like, we have that defensive defenseman now that we thought Haig would be, or that we thought this guy would be. And it's like, awesome, looking forward to it. And then the season starts, and you're like, where'd this guy go?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, he was a workhorse in San Jose, 20, 21 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Now he's getting just over 17. He's not going to put up a bunch of points. Defense is supposed to be his strength. And there are times I'm just like, what in the hell are you doing?
Oh, yeah, he looks lost out there. But then, again, like you said, there's other times where you're like, damn, he knows what he's doing.
Right. So, I mean, because it's not a lot of money, I'll say he's earning it, I guess. I don't know.
I'll say he's not, just to play devil's advocate a bit, but at the same rate, it could be much worse.
Mm-hmm.
The last guy we're going to get to here is the goalie. We have Brian Elliott. And Brian Elliott this year, it's a much lesser role than he played last year, but it's also him being pressed into situations right now, like when Carter Hart's out, that we didn't really want to see because of, given his track record with injuries, I'm not going to say injury concerns, but he's getting older, and it's one of those things where you do worry about it. But he stepped in, played well in his absence. He's got that, he kind of, shouldn't say laid a stinker, but, the Carolina game was St. Louis was okay, but the LA game was phenomenal. 34 saves on 34 shots, or 35 shots.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, he's earning it. It's $2 million. Like,
yeah,
I'm talking like that's nothing. I would give anything for $2 million. But I mean, he, like you said, recently he has had to do more than he was expected to do, and I mean, he's done a decent enough job.
Absolutely,
he's 34 or 5 or whatever he is.
He was signed to be a backup goalie, and he was signed to back up Carter Hart, who was going to get the lion's share of starts in net. Injuries happen, so Elliott might play a couple more games than we anticipated him playing, but he's playing well in those games. And I think, like you said, for $2 million, we could have done much worse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
totally.
To summarize here, Kevin Hayes, Jacob Voracek, Claude Giroux, James Van Riemsdyk, all not earning their contracts. Konechny, Provorov, Niskanen earning their contracts. Justin Braun earning his contract through you.
Kind of. I don't know.
Justin Braun's kind of up in the air, but Brian Elliott is also earning his contract.
Right.
That's the meat of the show here, folks. And for the first time in how many weeks, we're going to get to do this segment here. Hold on a second.
What the?
There it is. We finally get to do a Wait What segment again. We haven't done one of these. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I mean, we get lazy. We're like, we don't need one. Because, I mean, sometimes it's hard to fish for these things. Like, when we came up with it, there were just so many stupid things that were coming out. And now, I don't know what it is. Maybe I've, filtered it where I can't get the idiots.
Yeah, I think we stopped following some of the people that were, mainstays in the Wait What segment here. But for those of you that don't know what we do here, this is the segment where we take something that was said, tweeted, written about somewhere out there in the universe, and we take it and literally say exactly what this segment is called. Wait, what? So for this week, John, you have something that you'd like to share.
Sure.
That we both found that I think is interesting as well.
Yeah, so this gentleman, he tweeted, "I know this isn't popular, but I think JVR has played really well this season." Now, you won't be shocked to hear that this is one of those advanced stats chuckleheads who, will come up with any sort of, I don't even know, I can't even make up a stupid stat at this point, like usement progression per 60 thing, where he's measuring everything that's not being seen on the ice. Do I think that JVR is playing as bad as we're kind of hyping it up to be? No. Do you agree with me? I mean, he's not awful.
No, he's not god-awful, but
we paid him to produce points. Yeah. Goals, if you will. He's not producing goals.
No.
At the level that we want him to do. So to go ahead and say he played really well, you're just being an idiot. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I say this all the time with this stupid advanced stats crap. But it's like you're just trying to find something that's not there.
I saw something where a player mentioned about advanced stats saying, advanced stats just tell people what, the players already know. And
right.
I can't really compare it to anything else because I think that's a perfect way to summarize it.
I read something today on The Athletic. It was like a player poll, and I've tweeted out a bit of it. And one of the questions was, do you follow advanced stats? And most of the players, I think it was like, I want to say like 86% of the players were like, no, we don't follow advanced stats. And then one of the quotes was like, F no, those things are stupid.
I want to know who that guy is because I want to buy him a beer.
There's somebody in the Atlantic Division, which makes me think that it's Brad Marchand.
Yeah, well, you'd have to say it with your French accent. Oh, no. That is bad. We don't pay attention to that crap.
All right. I mean, I'm done.
All right.
Ripping on this poor guy. Sorry, fella.
All right. So I'm sure most of you already know what mine's going to be this week. We had a funny tweet, earlier in the week about Patrick Hornquist being punched in the face and how I quite frankly enjoy it. Don't like the guy. I just don't like him. He's a good hockey player. Not fond of him. That gained a good bit of traction on Twitter, and we got some pretty nice responses, mainly from Penguins fans. So Pittsburgh Nation, if you're listening out there, thank you for keeping me entertained on Friday afternoon.
Dude, we also loving it.
Listen, we also had a response from the Mark Madden, which I'm still upset, and I'll explain why here in a second. This gentleman was one of the first responses, and he's like, when's the last time the Flyers won the Cup? Which seemed to be the ultimate insult amongst these Yinzers. But this guy tagged Mark Madden in it, thinking, big bad Mark Madden will come to my defense. He did.
Right.
It asks Mark Madden, have you ever seen the Flyers win a cup? To which I responded, Mark Madden has in fact seen the Flyers win a Stanley Cup because they won 2 of them back in the 70s, which Mark Madden was alive for.
Right.
Mark Madden quoted our tweet, and I don't even remember what he said because I don't like the guy. I think he's a jackass. And
I didn't know who he was. You had to tell me.
He's the blowhard of Pittsburgh sports. I compared him, without getting too political, I compared him like the Donald Trump of Pittsburgh sports.
Oh, Jesus.
Whichever side of the aisle you sit on, I'm sure you understand where I'm coming from. But anyways,
there goes our listenership.
This guy says something, and then his followers and the little minions, Flyers suck. I love the Penguins. You can imagine what's going on there. But then I actually got upset because I then asked Mark. I'm like, Mark, answer the question, the original question. Were you alive to see these cups? Because he never directly answered them. Right. Never got the answer. He didn't block us, which apparently he does to a lot of people. But the rest of the afternoon, it was just nonsense. It was
like the next day too.
Dude, it went on like all weekend, and it was literally the same thing. It was hashtag 1975, and our buddy Liam loves that band, so maybe they're just a bunch of the 1975 fans. I don't know.
They're coming for you. I hear it in the background.
Those are Pittsburgh sirens. But it just created a bedlam, and I was taken aback by how so many Penguins fans could be so upset at a tweet from us.
Honestly, I've never heard you so excited, since we've been doing this. And when you have your son, it's going to be the proudest moment of your life. But this is definitely going to be a close second. So, sorry, Tasha, but you were just like...
I went toe-to-toe with Mark Madden and came out unscathed.
Right. You're just like, dude, it's got like 400 likes. This is amazing.
Our tweets don't typically get a ton of love. I mean, they don't get love like that, let's be honest. We'll get, the 20, 30 here and there, but, man.
We just got to crap talk teams more often.
And I told you this, and I said, I was born for this. I was born for, it's not even damage control because I'm going back at these clowns, but it was I felt like Jon Snow, standing there just unsheathing the sword and waiting for everybody to come in. And I'm like, let's do this.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm just picturing you there in like a pizza-stained white tee and your boxers standing in the doorway being like, come on, Yinzers.
I'm waving my finger at my dog don't wait. We'll go out in a second. I've got to really take it to this jackass right now,
Oh, there's another one.
Oh, these jagoffs.
No, No, your mom wears combat boots.
Oh God! Like no, 1975 to you. Like, oh, they are relentless, dude. I've been through this before. Like, it's the never-ending Twitter battle between Flyers and Penguins fans. But oh my God, the denseness of these idiots.
Right.
Oh, but
can you teach me to insult?
To teach me hockey. I know Crosby.
Go now.
We're gonna go, folks. This has been Pod Street Bullies episode something. John, tell us where they can find us.
So you can find us on Twitter at PodSTBullies. You can also find our prospect work at PodSTProspects. You can find us doing podcast things twice a week now on your favorite podcast thing. What do they call these platforms?
Yeah.
If you haven't tried out Podsnatcher yet, give it a try. Make sure no kids are around.
Yeah.
That's about all I got to say.
If the kids are around, turn your volume down a little bit. But as far as we're concerned, you can find John Pod Street Gove. You can find me Pod Street Bob. And you can always find us on your favorite podcasting apps. So until the next time we speak, folks, have a wonderful rest of your week. And as always, let's go Flyers.
Bye now.